What's going on, everybody? It's Tane, the digital realtor with eXp Realty here. Got episode number 2 of Brews and Real Estate. And today I got my buddy Raymond Trinkle III here with us. He's over in New York. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the audience?
What's happening, everyone? Raymond Trinkle III, licensed realtor here in New York. Tane, obviously, if you don't know this already, was originally from Long Island, from New York. So that's how we are connected, and just want to share some real estate knowledge and some local beers.
So that's the whole point. I'm originally from Long Island. That's actually how I knew Ray as well. He's also my sponsor with eXp Realty. Let's get into it. So you got a Jets jersey on today, huh?
That's it. You know, we're currently playing for the #1 pick in the draft, which I'm super stoked about. That's like one of our regular things that we try to go for each year. We're not like a Super Bowl, that's not our goal. So it's just different goals, man. Different goals. You know, we have really long-term aspirations for the Super Bowl.
Just trying to get some W's.
Yeah, exactly.
W's. How's your week going so far, man? You having a nice weekend?
Good, no complaints. You know, been out showing homes. We still can't do any prospecting here. You know, with the government shutdown from government for governor.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in New York with that?
Sure. So basically, we're in what's considered a state of emergency, where we cannot. You know, it's not just us here as realtors, but every industry in general is not supposed to be prospecting, meaning no cold calling, no soliciting. Door knocking, all the typical ways that you would see somebody traditionally prospect, we're not legally allowed to do. So on the real estate side, that would mean contacting expireds, contacting FSBOs, contacting for rent by owners, contacting absentee owners. We cannot make any of those types of phone calls right now. And it's been that way since March.
Which is a huge game changer for, especially for those of you that may be watching this and you're my client, past client or future client. You probably met me through me calling you. So that's crazy that you can't make outbound phone calls right now, because that's pretty much how you got to eat. So I'll have Raymond's information at the end of this as well, so you can reach out in case if you have anyone interested in buying.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow me on social media, it's at Raymond Trinkle III. We'll put the link in the bottom.
Yeah. So for those of you that haven't watched the first episode, essentially what this is all about is just hanging out, enjoying some beers, and then after that we're going to go over market, pretty much the market update of what's going on in each other's market, right? I thought it'd be really nice to have someone else in a different market share their thoughts and their views on what's going on over there, because in case if you have anyone here in Virginia that's thinking about moving over there, they see a video like this, they get a good idea. So let's get started. Today I got my beer is. So this is actually from Lidl as well. This is called Craft Explorers Blue Ridge Lager.
Why don't you hold it up a little bit closer to the camera? Yeah. We can't really see it there.
Yeah, the lighting.
Glare.
Yeah. So it's called Craft Explorers.
Craft
Explorers Blue Ridge Lager, and you could get it from Lidl. This is actually a white label. So the actual brewery that made this is Star Hill Brewery. So those of you that are here in Virginia are probably familiar with this Star Hill Brewery. They've been around since the 90s. Located over in Charlottesville area. So the brews are really good. So that's what I got going on today. What you got over there, Ray?
All right. So being that this is my first show, I was, carefully selecting some local. I want to really support some local craft breweries, stuff that's going on here in New York. So show it up. It's also some Thai because my father's a former FDNY. Now retired.
That's super cool.
He was a captain, so it's Signal 8, and then there's a little, fire truck on the front there.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
Which is pretty cool. And you see right here, so it's the 1940s Brewing Company, and it was brewed in collaboration with the Holbrook Volunteer Fire Department.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of super cool. So that's local right here in Suffolk County. A lot of you guys probably know people that live in Holbrook, or maybe you even live in Holbrook. And these are the people that are keeping you safe. God forbid there was ever a fire in your community. So I'm going to try out their beer, and I will give you my opinion. Hopefully it's good. If it's not, I'm an honest person, so I apologize in advance.
I actually grew up over in Sable.
Did you try it already? Did you?
No, I haven't, but I grew up in Sable.
Is it time to pop?
A town over from Holbrook.
Let's see how the sound is.
Oh, man. Terrible pouring by me. You never want that.
Pretty good sound effect.
You never want that. terrible pour by me right there.
Yeah. I didn't really plan ahead with the beer glasses. I can run off screen though, so you know what? You entertain the peoples.
A beer tastes so much better in a glass, in my opinion, and plus the look of it is awesome.
You're not wrong.
Especially a nice cold glass like this one right here. I had it in the freezer overnight.
All right. Got myself, I have a nice bar, so you know what I mean?
Nice.
So busted out the glass. I want to give it a proper review. We're going to put the links in the bottom if you guys want to try any of the beers that we are trying. If you guys want to, you own a brewery, you are brewing beers and you want us to sample it live here, on one of these episodes, information's below. We'd be happy to try it out. You can send us a 6-pack. Obviously, we're in different locations, so you're going to have to send 2 6-packs. But we'll gladly review it for you. But we are honest, so, if you give us a bad beer, it's not going to look good. Now, I did a terrible pour. I don't even want to show it on camera.
Let me see. Let's see it.
He's got one hell of a head going.
Well, mine's starting to get better.
I got a little extra head going here. It's breaking down though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So, while that is doing its thing, how's your week going?
It's going good, man. Can't complain. Got 2 under contract on Friday for my sellers over asking price.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going well. And then this weekend, just doing a little organizing, fixing things up to get my business to run more efficiently. So I had some showings this past week as well. So things are good over here. Luckily in Virginia, we can still do our own thing. There's nothing's really changed crazy for us with COVID besides having to wear masks and gloves at showings. That's fortunately for us. So
yeah, we're not in the same situation.
Yeah,
we're like going out in reverse, like in Queens and Brooklyn and some of these other areas. Now they're back to like not supposed to be doing open houses, and so definitely we're kind of going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm very grateful that we're able to do that here. But anyways, yours is ready? Do a little cheers.
I will give you a cheers. I have oops, my garbage can's not here. Well, cheers.
Cheers. So I had about 5 of these last night. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
That's good. So this is an amber lager, and it's got like a nice, it's like a little bitter taste, but it's also got like I don't know. It's a little bitter taste, but it tastes amazing.
So for you beer drinkers out there, maybe you guys can answer this question for me. So on my glass, I don't know if you guys can see it, I'll cover it with the phone. Oops, going the wrong way. It says 0.5, and then I'm assuming this is German. It says RASTAL, Rostal, Germany.
I think that's where the head is supposed to stop.
So that could be the location. I don't know if Rostal, Germany is a location. And then the 0.5 liters, I'm assuming that's probably what the measurement is. Yeah. And then you're supposed to allow the head to fill the remainder up. So
that's how
you guys can see firsthand how poor of a job I did. And, I'm doing really good so far, not cursing. So I'm really trying not to curse. I know YouTube, the algorithms, they don't really like that. So I'm being respectful of that.
I did not know that.
If I slip up, I apologize because sometimes I have a potty mouth.
Yeah.
But I'm trying.
So I'm a huge drink. I don't know. I guess you could say enthusiast when it comes to drinking, trying out different new things. That includes food and drinks. So maybe one of these days I'll start throwing food on this channel as well.
So guess what? It's really weird. So now that we're talking about this, I was going to tell you that what I thought would be a really good overlap with this is I can start the cooking show that I've already been putting together and like cook the dish before this, right? And bring the audience over and then like right into like Brews and Real Estate. So I have a nice little snack. We'll put the recipe out there for people that don't normally tune in. Maybe your wife can do the same thing. We'll do like some dish action going on, and it'll be cool.
So I'm more of the cooker in the family because she's
okay. So then you and me will cook it up. So we'll chef it up right before this live, maybe with everybody else. You Get in the way to join in.
Sounds good. Yeah, I highly recommend checking this out. It's pretty good beer.
So yours is what? It's an amber.
It's an amber lager.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bitter taste to it, but it's got a nice crisp taste to it too. It's really good. I've had better beer, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a nice beer, like from Lidl. Because I don't know if you have Lidl by you, but it's like a supermarket.
Okay.
Essentially, there's a German supermarket around here. It's pretty cheap too. But,
so I guess we should probably give some statistics. So I have, like I said, I have the Signal 8. It's made by the 1940s Brewing Company. It's a wheat beer featuring cashmere hops. It's got a 5.6% alcohol content. What do you got going on over there, Tane?
I've got 4.6 alcohol content, okay. And unfortunately, it doesn't really show much of what it's made with. So, but I do know it's from Hill Brewery, and from what I'm seeing, and also from the taste of it, it's definitely got like a little citrus in it. So
mine, in terms of hoppiness, I would say it's on the lower scale. Not like low, probably like yours is, I would assume maybe lower on the hoppiness, right?
Yeah. It's got a little like citrus taste to it, and almost from what I'm seeing, they probably have some sort of like caramel taste in it too. So, but it's really good.
Yeah, I would double down on that in terms of mine. So I would recommend here trying out Signal 8.
Yeah, me too. I definitely recommend checking this out too.
Good job, volunteer. I'm assuming one of the people at the volunteer fire department is probably the brewmaster behind this and was making it for all the guys, out of his garage. So, and that's where sometimes great ideas come from, is the garage.
I've always wanted to brew something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's probably going to be a future project. Let's be honest. If we get this thing up and going, we got to brew our own beer at one point. So I've done like a brew, like this brew kit I've gotten before in the past, but it was just like, I think it was from Costco. Actually, I bought it, and it was like a regular brew kit. I brewed some beers in it, but it definitely was not as good as getting it from the store. So, what we probably should do is talk to one of these breweries, whoever links up. Like I said, send us your information if you want to send us your beers. Maybe we'll come visit the brewery. We'll do a trip, and they can hook us up with some of the correct, supplies and stuff to make a little brew of our own. Because we could brew it at a brewery, you know what I mean? We don't have to brew it from our home, like at our house.
Yeah, the last brewery I went to was in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Blue Mountain, I think it was. Blue Mountain Brewery. Yeah, Blue Mountain Brewery in Charlottesville.
Because you said yours was done like in conjunction, kind of like this one, right? Where it's another. It's a white.
This one was white labeled. So, but the company the brewery that actually makes it is huge here in Virginia. They're over in Charlottesville, Hill Brewery. Everybody knows them. So, but so again, the other beers I've had is definitely better than this one, but it's a different taste. So, yeah.
I feel like that's a good way of saying it. Never to like beat up on a beer. I mean, sometimes I'm sure you try a beer and it just tastes like crap, but it's probably because the beer went bad. Like typically a beer is the palate of your mouth, right? So if you're not feeling like a certain hoppiness, then you might not like IPAs, for example, and you're definitely not going to like a double IPA or a triple IPA. Yeah. So like it really, that palate. So whenever we say something is bad or whatever it is, just for, so you guys understand, we're not knocking the beverage company. We're just saying for our own personal taste.
Yeah. Well, so this one I had yesterday with steak was really good. With like when I was having it with the steak, it tasted much better than like just by plain itself. And it's so weird how
so true.
Yeah, well, like when you pair with certain things. So like I actually had a bison steak yesterday for the first time. So that was interesting. But yeah, I had it with this and it was really good. So
I could see that probably because didn't you say it was a little citrusy? Maybe it might go really well with like a salad as well, like a fennel salad or something.
Yeah, it's got a little citrus and like a bitterness taste, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what it's from, but yeah, I had it. So if you do try this out, check it out with some steak. That was really good with it. But I think a lot of stuff has to do with pairing too.
Yeah,
like how white wine and fish, red wine.
That's what's kind of cool with craft beers now. It used to be just like your typical like Bud Light, Coors, right, and Miller, but now with all like over the last 10 years or so, right, there's so many craft beers. Now it's like you can actually pair a beer similar to wine. You know what I mean, with food.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, enough about beer. Let's get into the real estate, my favorite part. I love real estate. So here in Hampton Roads, we've got a crazy market going on right now. It's definitely not as crazy as Ray's market. I'm sure he can tell us some crazy stories. I always hear, but my brother tells me about people paying over $40,000, $60,000 over asking over there. So, but over here in Hampton Roads, it's definitely a hot market. And as I mentioned on the last episode, I don't think it could ever get as crazy as New York because of the fact that we have a lot of VA loans. So they kind of, I guess you could stabilizes it a little, because if you got all conventional loans, it's going to be crazy all over the place. But the VA, they make sure that you're acting, you don't go way too crazy over value.
Yep.
So, but yeah, the stats over here are pretty good. I'm going to post that down below as well. But as of September, again, guys, keep in mind this is year over year comparison. So I'm going to be comparing September's numbers from this year in comparison to 2019 September. So as of September 2020, this past month, we had 42.28% decrease in active listings. So that is just insane when it comes to numbers wise. That means it's like realistically what they're saying is we have about 2 months left of inventory. But obviously we'll keep everyone, agents such as myself is always going to bring inventory. But that's just so insane. It's absurd. It's like the lowest by far. So we have right now 4,800, as of September, we had 4,839 active listings. And in 2019, we had 8,384. So that has a lot to do with, again, guys, the pending sales are increasing by a ton. And so because of the fact that the rates are at an all-time low, so buyers are going out there, and the well-educated buyers know that even in a seller's market like this, where you may pay over asking, your interest rate is 2 to 2.5. In the long run, you end up paying less anyways. So the educated buyers know this, and there is a ton of them out there. So the pending sales over here, it has increased by 41.9% as of September, and the numbers are essentially 3,417 went under contract in September. And in comparison to 2019, which was only 2,408. So it's so crazy hearing this numbers because, before COVID kicked in, we were talking about the real estate market, what it's going to be like. And everyone was worried, but never really seen the government step in like this. So that's made a huge difference, in my opinion, the government stepping in, calming everybody down, because if the housing market crashes, then it's a whole game changer for everything else. So, but that's that for pending sales. And the really neat part is the settled sale. We've had a growth of close to 35%, 34.1% increase in settled sales. So we had 3,248 closings in September, and in comparison to 2019, where we only had 2,422. So that, again, it has a lot to do with why the active listings are so low, because the increase in pending sales and as well settled sales. A lot of houses are just selling. So if people, for those of you sellers out there that are listening to this, if you're in the Hampton Roads area, these numbers right here are like never before. I've got literally deals going on right now where I'm able to negotiate over asking, getting the lowest terms. And if you're in Virginia, you know how common it is to pay closing cost assistance. And it's just the way it is. But as of right now in this market, you're able to get away with paying no closing cost assistance, or as little as 0.5% or 1%. So if you're a seller out there and if you're interested in how much your home is worth, definitely reach out. No risk, low pressure, no obligation whatsoever. So just reach out and I'll be able to tell you exactly how much your home is worth, and if it makes sense, then you possibly could sell, right? Because as of right now, with all that being said, it's actually increased our median sales price by as high as 10%. And this is just within 2020. So you don't see stuff like this and usually, and for like at least 2-3 years for it to build up to 10% increase. So that's like a huge game changer. And a lot of sellers, especially if you are a landlord, that is, you've owned the property for 10 plus years, and let's say you bought in 2008 when it was at this highest. Now is possibly the time for you to sell when it's at another highest. So cash out on your equity while you can, guys. I'll have my information down below. And lastly, the numbers for new construction as well. The numbers across the board are just going up for everything. it's eventually, I tell my sellers this, it's eventually got to come down. I don't know about you, Ray. Raymond's been in the industry for quite some time. So whatever, I have a saying, whatever goes up, got to eventually come down. So hopefully the market will stay this strong. We just don't know how long it'll last for. But the new construction sales have also been up by 31.97%. In September, we had 322 new construction sales versus 2019, which was 244. So, but yeah, the numbers are crazy over here in Hampton Roads, Ray. How are your numbers looking over there in New York?
All right, so I took a little bit of a different approach than you did, just because of the way the market is here. So I figured, let me look at month to month as opposed to year over year, and then we kind of see. So I have a theory. I think that, and I've already kind of seen this going on in my market here. I could be wrong, could be right. Like I said, it's just my personal take on it. If you have a property, or if you're purchasing a property and you're looking for a home in an area, or this is your home in this type of an area, you're located near a major transportation route, primarily the Long Island Railroad, or in a really good school district, you're still going to see some sort of an appreciation in your price. You're still going to see some bidding wars, still going to see a ton of people outside for open houses, stuff like that. However, everyone else, which is a large majority of people, let's say 75% of the homes out there, they've chased the market at this point. So I'm now seeing the last few open houses that I went to, there's not long lines. You can go in and out. So if you're not located very close proximity to one of these hot little, spots, I'm not seeing that same insanity because the prices have caught up. Meaning, like, instead of listing it at 400, they're going for 450 right off the bat. And, and that just doesn't create that same sort of like bidding, war, and that like everyone's running out to see the property. So everyone's kind of caught up in terms of the price, and I've seen houses that, like, in my opinion, have no business selling for that much money. Like, they really need updates, which I'm really happy. If you're a senior, you're an older person. I know, Tane, you like to help out with the older community as well. Especially with COVID, we're super careful about, any sort of cleanliness and stuff like that. But it's a great opportunity right now if you're thinking about downsizing to cash out. That's what I see here is people that have houses that they're never going to update. They weren't going to update and definitely weren't going to sell for this much money pre-COVID. So happy for them. They're getting an opportunity, a great out to get out of the market. I don't know if you're seeing that on your end.
I am.
Before I go into like my stats and whatnot, if you want to just give, a quick little take on that.
Yeah, no, I definitely am seeing it on my end too. In regards to that, that's actually the reason why I brought up people that, purchased in 07, 08, because I ran into a couple of people that I've helped out already where they purchased at the bad time. And really it's the prices have caught up again now. So that's where it's important, especially if you felt like you got screwed over, back then. Now is kind of the time to try to capitalize on it, right? I'm not saying the buyers are getting screwed over because of the fact that the buyers are also getting in at, I don't know what the rates were back in 08.
Super low rates, exactly.
Yeah, well,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, you were around, in the 08 era as a realtor as well. But I'm sure the rates were nowhere close to where it is at now. I just heard of someone the other day getting 2% on a VA. It was like insane. So it's a win-win for everybody. The only problem is there's just not enough inventory out there, and there's a lot of and it has a lot. It has a lot to do with the pending sales that we've got going on, where it's increased by a ton. But it also has a lot to do, I think, with the uncertainty that people have got with COVID. Right, you're worried about people coming into the home due to COVID, which is understandable. But people, I always, I just helped somebody out that was in that same situation where they're paranoid about COVID. But there's ways to approach it if you truly want to sell. We're in 2020. You've got, such as my, an agent myself, I use 3D tours for all of my listings due to the fact that increases the chances of only getting serious buyers in there, right? That really want to see the home. And then when the buyers do go in there, us agents, we follow protocol, having a mask, gloves, hand sanitizer, whatever the case is, to make the actual homeowner feel more comfortable about having strangers walk through the property. So just keep that in mind. If you're paranoid, not paranoid, but concerned,
nervous,
about COVID, it's understandable, but there's ways to approach it to where if you want to capitalize on this market, we can do it. especially the way my approach is, I don't call myself a digital realtor for no reason. I try to make it as efficient as possible for all my sellers. So even if it has to do with me going there personally and, taking a video, FaceTiming somebody, which I've done many times to just show the property. So same over here, Ray, in regards to that.
And for me here, my mom's a school teacher at Smithtown High School. And she's definitely one of those people that's like, does not want to get COVID. So like, I know the tricks to the trade to make sure everybody is safe because I hear it all the time from my own mom. So in our area, just kind of give you guys a quick update in terms of stats and numbers. I'm going to read it right off. I'll put a link below for you guys to the PDF, make it a little bit easier for you. But we're in terms of Suffolk County, I'll do Suffolk first. The listings, this kind of just tells you where we're at, right? So we had 2,186 new listings in August. We had 2,300 in September. So, that's a good sign. A little extra inventory came onto the market. Right. In terms of total listings, we have 4,132. There was 4,247 in August. So that came down slightly despite an increase. So it just goes to show you the market is really moving. Closed really listings, 1,544 versus 1,261 in August. So there was way more closings in September than there were in August. And here's kind of just tells the story. Like I thought August, in my opinion, was like in terms of the prices, they really caught up. Like everybody realized what was happening from June and July. They were a little nervous in June and July, maybe here, with COVID, and they weren't sure which way the market was going to go. In August, they were sure because here you can see the average selling price was $617,000 in August. It increased to $654 by September. That's huge. Like that's huge.
And what are those numbers?
Selling price goes from $475 to $485.
That's the average.
And so inventory, luckily, absorption time's at 2.1 months. So that's kind of the case of what's going on with Suffolk. Nassau, it's a little bit different market. We had about 1,800 listings in August. We had about 1,700 in September. So a complete opposite of Suffolk. So Suffolk, we saw an increase. Nassau, we saw a decrease. We had about 900 closings in August versus about 1,250 closings in September. So same thing. We saw a huge uptick at probably schools. I'm assuming everybody wanted to get in before the schools started. And in terms of price, we went from $768,000 in August in terms of an average to $752,000. So we actually saw a tick down in Nassau County, and the absorption was at 2.6 months. So what that absorption means is how much inventory is on the market overall. So if everybody was to go out and, and just buy everything and no one would ever to list again, it would take about 2.6 months for all of the houses to sell. Where, in terms of like same thing for you, Tane, where is your absorption rate? Kind of where is that at?
1.98.
2 months?
Yeah, 1.98.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit lower than us. And obviously this is going to be, if we were to really hone in on our areas, in terms of like town specific, you're going to see like it makes a big difference depending on the location that you're at.
I mean, if you think about it historically, every year come around fall times, the listings typically go down due to the fact, less to school for school reasons or season, holiday reasons. So I'm curious on how that's going to affect it with COVID this year, if it's going to even go down more. So from my understanding, Ray, in New York, a lot of people are moving out of the city and over to Long Island. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's why you're seeing that those hot spots, like I mentioned, Long Island Railroad, close proximity to the major highways, right on the border of Suffolk County and Nassau. So the hot spots like Ronkonkoma, the Babylon areas, Lindenhurst, it just makes common sense. You know what I mean? Huntington, Comac, any of the good school districts that are out there, those are all going to see, huge upticks. That's going to be for a different reason. Those are going to be residents that are moving into those areas or upgrading, just your normal purchase cycle. All those location like designated type spots, that's your urban buyers. Those are the people coming out from the city. They got to be able to quickly go back in. So for them, it's much more location based. Whereas you also have all your regular buyers, and they're really focused, typically speaking, on area and school district. Those are the main drivers.
Gotcha. What do you, you're helping out buyers and sellers in New York. with everything going on with such.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would love more sellers. So if you're looking to sell your home, please hit me up right now. I honestly have been focusing more on the purchase side just because we can't prospect, right? So, you know, other than word of mouth, running ads, it's been more difficult to acquire the listing side.
Yeah, if you're looking to sell in New York, reach out to Ray. And if you're looking to move to Virginia, over here, Hampton Roads, it's awesome. I love it here.
Yeah, we could do a double whammy, right? So I know a lot of people are leaving New York, like you said. The main hubs that I'm seeing is basically people relocating from New York City out to Long Island. Long Islanders are relocating from Long Island down to Virginia, the Carolinas, Florida. Miami's seeing a huge uptick. So you're seeing that sort of a movement cycle. Even out west, Colorado and stuff, but unfortunately, like, you know, we don't have Courtney here, but those prices have gone through the roof because a lot of people all over the country flocked out there. Yeah. So, you know, but I'm definitely seeing a big movement down south. I
got a deal going on right now with a family moving from Queens. Actually, Glendale. But what do you call it? So in regards to the bidding wars we got going on right now, Ray, what are you doing? What are you seeing that's actually causing?
So I'll be honest with you, in my last few offers that I've submitted, I've actually underbid. So, you know, I'm not chasing the market. At the same time, when I see that the open houses aren't as packed anymore, or if now it's so deadly. You love talking about this with your sellers. It is so, I mean, I'm going to tell you guys, this is the secret right now. You cannot go too long days on market. You're done. Because everyone looks at you like a freaking plague. They're like, oh, what's wrong with that house? It could be a perfectly good house. If you go past days on market, in this kind of market, it's like, you're done.
You're so right on that, dude. Because I had, it just went under contract Friday, but I had one listing that was on the market for 14 days. And people were asking me like agents like, what's wrong with the house? Like,
14 days.
14 days. I was like, dude, there's nothing wrong with the house. The average days on the market, there's 68 something. So it's like, you know,
that's crazy.
You're so right on that. And sellers, if you listen to this, it's very crucial, the days on the market. Like, especially in a hot market like this, where you got homes going on the contract in less than a week. When people see something in 14 days, for example, where they're questioning, like, hey, what's wrong with the house? Why is no one? I'm like, dude, nothing's wrong with the home. It's just mad. I'm like, we're working on stuff. But so you're underbidding, you're saying, because you're seeing how the market fluctuates. How is it going for you? Are you able to get people under contract right now?
Yeah, so I have gotten backup in terms of I'm the backup offer on a few properties. I have a couple more out this week as well, this weekend. So I'll give you more feedback next episode, next week. I'll let you know how they end up. Those, just to keep in mind, they are in good areas, good school districts, all your typical, these are your buyers that, you know, they're looking for, but they're not in West Babylon. They're not in Ronkonkoma. There's certain areas. So I have to see, my opinion is there's going to be a leveling off right now because you're going to have the holidays starting. And there was that huge push before the school districts start. Yeah. That's really what I think it was. Now that we're into school, I don't know that you're going to see that same insanity. You know, a lot of realtors will probably hype it up. I got to see it first to believe it, you know? So the last few open houses I went to, it wasn't as insane, you know, and some of them, there wasn't a line whatsoever. I was able to just kind of walk in, you know, there was like 5 or 6 people.
So, you know, over here where we got bidding wars going on, you know, and agents themselves, I run into all the time, especially since I'm more on the listing side, where everyone's bidding essentially to win that house. What do you think makes a huge difference when it comes to being that offer?
So basically, your realtor has to be on top of the market. So for example, a house that's well priced in a good area, like that's going to be one of these getting bid up houses in my area. It's gone, typically speaking, in less than a week. The really good ones, they're able to be locked down in like literally 3 or 4 days. And my only way because obviously the realtors are not going to tell you what their logic is in accepting an offer 2 or 3 days in or 4 days in. Obviously it's a seller accepting it, but they're advising their client. Me, I'd want to let it go a week just to see what the whole scope, because you can't get every buyer into your house in 2 days. Yeah. And that's what we see right now is people are like, rushing everybody in, and that's not, you need to give it a week, because if you're just packed out in showings for a week, that's perfect. If the showings die off, tell your seller it's time to make a decision. So I'm seeing, on those types of homes, they're locked up really fast, which I would presume somebody overbid. They gave a really high offer, maybe waived the inspection, use some types of stuff like that in order to get them to basically stop showings. So if you can get, right now we call it temporarily off the market, so an accepted offer, the listing changes over to temporarily off the market, no more showings. That's critical as a buyer, because now you're not worried about, somebody coming in and overbidding you, So I think you're getting people that need a home, they'll pay up drastically. But that may end now with the school district. So I'm still seeing them. I still called on several properties this week where 2-3 days on the market, accepted offers, no more shows.
Yeah.
And that to me is a hot market when your house is selling in 3 days.
Yeah. On my end, when, as a listing agent, things that I look for, or, especially in a market like this, this is where the experience comes into play, in my opinion. Because obviously you could sell you could sell in this market, sell by owner, you could sell with any sort of agent, right? Just because of the way the market is. Yep. But to me, I think this is where the experience comes into play, and is essentially knowing what is because when you got 4 offers in, for example, right? How do you know which one's a strong one? To me, as a listing agent.
All right, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So to me, as a listing agent, what I look for is those 4 offers that come in. I want to know the agent, the history behind the agent, right? So I will do research on my end of how experienced is this agent, right? Second, the lender is really another crucial. So 2 things that I look for in a lender: communication is key. However, most importantly, how far along the process are you in the qualification? So I don't know if you guys have it over in New York, but over here, there's lenders that operate differently. There's ones that will send all the documents over to the underwriting first, and then there's ones that send it to underwriting later on in the process. So if I get a lender and I'll get on the phone with them and I'll find out, hey, how long along in the process are you? What have they submitted? And he'll tell me, all right, I've got these documents, I got these documents. As soon as they tell me, hey, we've already submitted to underwriting, then that's a huge win for me, because I've seen deals fall apart 2 weeks before closing due to the fact of change, that's something that underwriting didn't pick up. So that's where it comes into play of having an experienced agent, knowing you got 4 offers in, because at the end of the day, it's a waste of time if you select the wrong offer, and then that's money that you lose. So I pay attention to the agent, to the lender, and as well, most importantly, the buyer's situation. What is their exact situation? If I'm able to get out of it, right? If you're truly a serious buyer, I think it's important for your buyer agent that they're looking out for your best interest, but as well sharing the information that's needed for me as an agent to understand their situation, right? So like this example of the agent I'm working to deal with, from people moving from New York, I had other offers in that as well. But I needed to know what their situation is. They had a contingency sale, right? And then as well, knowing that what their reason for moving out of New York was to pretty much move down south, try to get out of New York. Knowing the motivation behind it helped a ton, especially when you got multiple offers in, because most agents don't want to give up the motivation of the movement. But in a market like this, if I know that, hey, this is a first-time home buyer, they love the home, right? And all their lending is cleared and the agent's experience, and I'm going to go with that person due to the fact that there's a ton of motivation behind it. I know that they're definitely qualified. I don't have to worry about it because they've been through underwriting. And I know that this agent isn't going to screw up the deal because at the end of the day, agents, I understand it. They think they're looking out for their best interest, but sometimes people get caught up in trying to make themselves look like heroes so much that a deal can fall apart. So, I was just on the phone with an agent the other day. She's telling me she wouldn't purchase the home at $100,000, and then right away I was like, no, I'm like, you need to understand, you're not purchasing this property, and neither am I. Like, you don't say that to your buyer, because at the end of the day, because she was trying to come up with reasons on why he should pay this price, and I'm explaining to them everything such as, hey, there's new roof, new HVAC, new carpet, new flooring throughout the entire place. I understand that the neighbor's tax assessment was higher, but tax assessment went up obviously because he sold for however much. And because the neighbor's home sold for $156, we're asking for $154. and the tax assessment for us was only 111,000. The neighbors was 146 something. So, we're negotiating, we're going back and forth, and then the agent's telling me, like, I wouldn't buy this home if I was him. I'm like, you don't, I'm like, that's not up to you. I'm like, it's what does he think is valuable? Our house has a garage, the neighbor doesn't have a garage. Our house has a new roof, the neighbor doesn't have a new roof. Our house has new windows, new HVAC, the neighbor doesn't have that. I'm like, I get it, their tax assessment is higher, but don't get so caught up on the tax assessment. And that's where, again, it goes back to making sure that you pick the right agent, right? So I get it, because sometimes agents can kill the deal like that, because her whole motive was she's looking out for her client, making sure they don't overpay. I'm like, they're not overpaying. I'm like, what does he think is valuable to him? Does he appreciate, because the neighbor had new cabinets, all this stuff. I'm like, does he appreciate a new roof, new windows, new HVAC, a home warranty?
Yep. And
does he appreciate having a garage? It's what's important to him. I'm like, please, I told him, please don't bring up the fact that you wouldn't buy this home, because it's not us. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not buying this home because of the fact that it's not the type of home I'm looking for, but not bring that up to your client. Like so things like that, right? So, but yeah, that's what I'm looking for on the listing agent side, a solid buyer agent that has done many transactions and understand the actual process of not getting emotionally involved. Second, the lender, how their processes work, because some lenders will hand out pre-qualifications to anybody and they don't even know credit score, like they don't do a hard pull or anything like that. And third and final, what their situation is. So those are the three things I look for as a listing agent when I'm selecting the offers, especially when you got multiple bids going on, because people will come in higher price points, right? But that doesn't mean it's a stronger offer. Like, if I have an agent I've worked a deal with and it went smoothly, that's another plus. So for those of you buyers agents that are listening out there, you need to make sure you're professional and treat everyone else right, because when I'm working with somebody else and I know we had a smooth transaction before and it was a win-win for everybody, I'm going to lean more towards that person because of the fact that I know what they're doing.
Yeah. So let's. I don't want to make the episode too long for everybody. So let's give some closing thoughts, I guess, on 1 minute or so on where we think the market's headed, where the market's at. So for me here, market's super, super hot. If you are thinking about selling, this is a great opportunity. I don't think you should shy away from it. Definitely capitalize on it. I do, however, think this spring season is going to be the strongest, hottest real estate market. This is my own personal opinion. It's not facts, ever in a long time. I really think from this point forward, we're going to kind of plateau right now and gradually increase. And then come January, February, all of a sudden we're going to pick up the pace into the spring and you're going to see another appreciation in the price. So that's where I think we're headed. So if you want to hold out until then, let's chat. Let's make sure you got all your ducks in a row, a few things you can do to your house, make sure you can capture the most value. Happy to help you out.
Why do you think it's going to be a hot market next year?
I just think with where inventory is and just the natural progression of people during the holiday season, you'll see that that's kind of where we're going to be at. And I think a lot of people from my conversations that I've had are thinking about also purchasing in the spring. So I think you're going to have a lot more purchasers coming out. So people are basically preparing themselves. And you have sellers also who are thinking about selling and don't want to sell in this market because they don't want to purchase in this market also. So, I think it's going to open up a lot more in the spring.
I do too. My reason for thinking it's the same thing, but I also think the vaccine is going to have a huge play in it too. It's going to get a lot of sellers at ease knowing that there's a vaccine out now. And I think next year it's going to be booming for sure. But, who knows? You never know with real estate. So, but for those of you, sellers and buyers, it's definitely a good market. For a buyer standpoint, the rates are at an all-time low. So highly recommend you look into your options. For sellers standpoint, right now is definitely, from the numbers that we went over, is definitely a hot market for sellers. You've got low inventory, the supply is there, and it makes sense for both sides to do whatever they need to. If you aren't ready, then hold off. But I'm here. You could reach out to me at Tainhwa, TEINHLWA, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. But yeah, I'll have all the information down below, and then I'll have Raymond's information as well. But hey, thank you.
Yeah, it's just at Raymond Trinkle III Instagram. You know, so let's give a shout out too to our companies. I don't know if you want to do yours real quick.
Shout out to Star Hill Brewery. Their beers are amazing. This beer right here, you can get. I'm already done with mine, but I'm gonna have another one after this. But this one right here, you can get it from Lidl. It's awesome. So definitely check it out. And plus,
I tried Signal 8.
They have a cardinal.
Say that again.
They have a red cardinal. This is a Virginia. What do they call it? It's pretty much the Virginia animal or
the bird.
Yeah, the red cardinal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I went with Signal 8. It was brewed in conjunction, the 1940s Brewing Company, in collaboration with the Holbrook Volunteer Fire Department. So thank you very much to the Holbrook Volunteer Firefighters. Every day, I know you guys lay your life on the line. You know, it means a lot to the community and to Long Island in general. So thank you very much. And so from my end, cheers. I hope you guys all have an amazing Sunday.
Nothing left, but cheers.
Cheers your empty glass. Oh, that's bad luck, man. You're gonna have a deal blow up. Oh man, it's my fault.
Anyways, thank you for joining, guys. Appreciate the time. All right, take care. We'll have all our contact information below. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Raymond's open in New York, Long Island area. New York is pretty big, but yeah, he handles pretty much throughout all of New York. Feel free to reach out.
I feel like you were flexing the whole time, with your big guns there. So let's go, baby.